There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here. Heavy workers' boots with reinforced toes and... Isn't this something an industrial worker would wear? 8 pairs of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud. Where else have we seen a gang of men in work boots? That's right, the hardy boys in the mess hall of whirling in rags. 1. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 46. Just like Titus was wearing in his booth. This is the big dick. Titus Hardy. The one with the ball cap on his head. Is it? They didn't even bother to change boots. Putting them on the scene is easy. Maybe even too easy. 2. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 44. Either the blonde muscular guy, Glenn, or the young guy with a plectrum around his neck.
There we go. Had to give my cat some water real quick. Speed run to fridge. Love you guys. Sleep well. Oh.
3. Hobnailed work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 43. The inked banger, perhaps. 4. Standard work boot. Number 45 or 46. Theo, the old smoker. You think you even see a tiny fleck of cigarette ash inside the print.
What
5.
else?
Another standard work boot. Reinforced toes. Number 44. Same as before. Either the musician, Eugene, or the muscle-bound blonde, Glenn. 6. Light as air. Same make of boot, but number 41. Small like a rat, shanky. Better late than never, detective. The whole world is dark and the tracks burn in it with strange beauty. 7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot. Number 46. The imprints are twice as deep as the others. The weight exceeds 200 kilograms. Fat Angus. Carrying something?
And the last one?
8. Another standard work boot. Number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole. The right sole is smoother, more worn. Curious. A missing 8th Hardy boy.
7 sets of tracks, right? The Hardy Boys were here.
8, actually.
That's all? Interesting. Then one of them seems to be missing. Anything else out of the ordinary?
Note to self. This would be a good question to ask Titus. Where's the 8th man? A leader like Titus doesn't let one of his guys out of sight easily, especially at a time like this.
Sole is smoother than the other. Yeah, because that's going to be the guy carrying the body,
200.
right?
This could be the combined weight of two people, one carrying the other who's tied up. Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built armored man. Maybe it was a fat hardy boy, the one sitting in the middle.
The only one large enough to lift.
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
Possibly, yes.
But why?
Why did they have to carry him? Probably because, again, they were the biggest person.
Yes,
and it
they
makes
could
no
have
sense.
used a makeshift stretcher or just march him up to the gallows.
I mean, they could have, but why?
Maybe the carrier wanted to impress his peers, demonstrate his physical might.
And maybe he refused to walk.
You have a point there. Anyway, it's something to consider. What else can you see?
One soul smoother than the other.
Interesting. Let's name it the Old Soul. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the missing hardy boy. Wonder who he is.
Oh, this one's easy. Way too easy. It's a driver.
A driver would wear down the right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right. And remember that abandoned lorry cabin we found?
With a piece of sandpaper glued to the throttle.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses as his eyes light up with excitement.
Which means that the missing lady driver was also present at the lynching?
Oh.
That's it. She's the Old Soul.
Miss Odd Soul. Women. She's... How deep does this rabbit
Now
hole
we
go?
know who's the missing eighth person at the lynching. Do you think that Hardy and his boys could also be involved in the drug operation?
I think the entire union is involved? Maybe even all of Martinez. Who's jerks? Definitely. Not necessarily. The lady driver could have kept the drug trade a secret. This would fit what Joyce told us, but I don't want to make any assumptions.
Understood. We should still go and see what Titus Hardy has got to say on the matter. This might throw them off, work in our advantage.
Mr. Titus.
So, what else?
A white step, number 41 shoe.
I'm guessing that's the skinny Hardy boy. The one with his front teeth missing.
Yeah.
I could still be wrong, but I'm probably not.
How old do you think these
A
tracks
week,
are?
maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller, who reported the hanging.
It is not impossible.
How do you know?
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Havashot. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day.
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week ago.
What do you think happened here?
What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree.
Doo-doo-doo, filling up my drink.
Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching.
Indeed, they all stood in a row here and looked at the tree.
So far, so good. Only one thing missing.
Looks up. He looks at the tracks, face lighting up from the
Of course,
realization.
there were 8 tracks, but there are only 7 Hardy boys.
Didn't we already deduced it's the woman driver. Let him have his moment of joy.
There's one pair missing from the Union box. The 8th pair. I'm going to say it was our Old Soul.
So the Odd Soul was present at the lynching, but isn't in the mess hall right now?
Yes. I doubt the Hardys are going to tell us much, but we should still confront them about the possible drug trade connection.
I wonder if we should go immediately? I mean, we already did talk to them. What's our journal say? Confront the Hardy Boys about the drug trade. Okay. Fridge victim's body. Ask around about a fridge. You know what? We're gonna trust our fellow officers with this one. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses.
Lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
The narrator got that one. Let's bag him. Take him away. Let the lieutenant take the body away without further examination. Yeah, we'll take
If
the
you
risk.
think so, officer, I'm not going to object. I need a little help for carrying him to the holding pen of my kinema. I'll take it from there.
What should I do in the meanwhile?
Continue working here. The locals, the case, or attend to your own business. I will meet you downstairs in the Whirling in Rags tomorrow morning, 7:30 sharp.
Huh?
This means Lieutenant Kisuragi will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You're free to do side tasks and even the main case, though it might be more difficult.
Interesting. Oh god. So maybe if you have nothing to do, read books or sit on the bench on the plaza. Oh, one sec. Here we go. Maybe better? Just thinking the whir of my PlayStation was getting a little too heavy. Hopefully my voice is still legible. I don't think that's the right word, but whatever. How are you this morning?
Hello again, sir.
Who's that?
Oh, that's Auntie Billy. She's nice if a bit distressed.
She's your aunt?
No, sir. She's a working woman who comes to look at the books a lot.
Why is she
I
distressed?
think she is a bad husband. Not very nice or helpful.
What is this crime
Crime
business?
fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals.
Okay, I get it. Crime murder? Why would anyone want to read about crime?
And it's kind of like a puzzle too. You can guess who the criminal is or how the good guys are going to catch him.
I'm a policeman myself, by the way.
You don't look much like a policeman.
What does a cop look like then?
Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
She points to a book cover on which you see a strapping Vespertine officer. He stands grimly over the body of a dead woman. It's not your body that's important in police work anyway.
Head? Yes.
No, it's your soul.
Your soul.
Your blue soul.
Soul. The Mullen guy looks like a Hamble man? Who could respect that face? It's not even drawn correctly. Is my
I'm
my
not
body
sure I
forcing me to say
understand.
that? Yeah. The policeman's gotta have the right stuff and a great sense of the law. No one would follow a weakling like Mullen.
If you say so, sir. He's just a fictional character. He's no match for your soul. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. Like in the books.
Sure. Watch
you
it fail.
fail to deduce anything substantial.
No. 92.
She waits intently.
It's okay, sir.
Was that a white check? Oh well.
It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man.
She smiles at the thought, perhaps imagining herself in the situation.
Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir.
What about when everyone
That's
is
really
poor?
not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life.
Sometimes you have to write about real things.
Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end.
What about a poor man getting a rich lady?
It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process, or should actually be rich himself, but has lost his family property unjustly, like during the revolution or something. Those are unhappy books, for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns out just fine in the end.
Doing this for the experience.
These are not very common.
If
You
it-
can't
if
have a
there's an
choice between
experience to be
bad
gained.
and bad. Nobody wants to read a story like that.
What if it's written really well?
Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting.
What about a book where the man and lady business doesn't work out at all?
I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum.
Yeah, you think she has one about an excruciatingly painful breakup?
I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though.
Okay.
Sometimes they break up for a little while, but then they always get back together.
It's enough romance for me. I had other questions.
Maybe some about other books?
Like goodbye. The best question. Well, they still need a bocce ball. I have no idea what the fuck to do about that. We might end up having to just read a book or camp out on that bench. I'll walk around, I'll talk a bit, see if anything's to be found.
Everything's still cool here, officer.
I'll leave you to it for now. Let's go to the apartment buildings. See if there are any Freuds. Oh. A thought? Shoes come in 3 different sizes. Weird thought.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, number 11.
Cannot.
No reply. No reply. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it. Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise.
Let's see. If I equip both the interfacing gloves and the cutters. What are my chances?
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, the shackle snaps like a twig, and the lock falls to the floor with a little thud. It should be possible to enter now.
Equip. Unequip. What's the difference? That's a spirit decor.
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. The name on the plinth reads, Kraz Marzov.
A communard lives in this room.
A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
A flamboyant poster of a white star. Real lithography. Photos of revolutionaries posing with guns. Books of critical theory on the monstrosities of capital and such. Ooh, what's that? Conceptualization. Some plans. Cool. I like it. And what was that other thing? It was like a pill? Yeah, it must have been something for my health items. Black monk straps. Also clothes. +1 to indirect modes of taxation. Affluent moneymaker man. Wait, what? What does that mean? Like asking people for money? A little confused. These Per and Ingersoll shoes have no lacing, but a strap and a buckle. Due to their elegant and affluent design, they have been described as the most advanced dress shoe. So advanced, in fact, that walking through slush and mud does not leave a single trace on them. I don't know. We got some new shoes, though. Appointment number 8, their mailbox is overflowing.
Give me a moment.
I have a few questions about those apartments.
Ask away, policeman.
Do you know who lived in the foreclosed
The
apartment?
hell am I supposed to know? Another nut job, I assume.
Why is there a hole in the wall in the abandoned apartment?
Some lunatic lost his mind. All kinds of morons pass through these halls.
With how small these rooms are, wouldn't you want to break the wall down?
Is one of the residents on a vacation? Their mailbox is overflowing.
People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone.
They probably just moved or died, hopefully somewhere else.
Yeah. That's all.
Oh,
Thanks.
no.
Do not die. The graffito says, a firing squad for the rich.
What happened here?
This looks so sad.
Put your emotions
Oh,
aside.
no.
Try to focus on, but this reeks of sadness.
You can't foreclose on an apartment with a hole in the wall.
It will still be accessible through the apartment next to it. That one didn't have a door. Sadly, nothing of great value remains here.
Except the stuff in the fridge.
Indeed.
I think we already checked the fridge. Yeah. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, that's the one exit. Go up to the balconies. See if anyone is up top to talk to. Cannot. Oh, wait. Maybe. Try different tools. Chain cutters first. Hey, it worked. No one too. Door doesn't open, so crowbar maybe? It would appear not. Cool. Not all doors are meant to be broken.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security. No one answers. Looks like he isn't home. You should come back later, after 2100.
After 2100. Is that the end of the autosave? But for why? We'll make our way over to the other balcony. They fixed the interfacing in the newest update, so that's nice. I was having to double click X on everything on my last session. It doesn't say playthrough. But this is the first. Okay. By 2, everyone's asleep. I wonder if there's penalties to going to sleep at later times? Do you have like a set schedule of time? A 6 to 8 hour or whatever? Is it just based on
Ruination has come. The broken arches betray the once grand history of this building. It towered over the harbor until it happened.
Former guests about what happened.
A great force from the northeast fired into the city. Heavy artillery shelled the coastline. Fired from the water. A straight shot into Revachol. The tenement acted as a defensive wall against the worst of the shelling until it was destroyed, and they had a direct firing line.
Look at the ruins in the water.
Those arches acted as support for something greater than what you see now. Only 3 stories stand where 9 to 12 once did. Restoration has failed. What the shelling took out was never rebuilt.
Who did this damage?
A fleet, the combined armies of Occident and Grad, with Mesk volunteers, a 5-nation army, hundreds of vessels. They massed airships further down in the Bay of Revachol. The artillery was so powerful. The ships not only required gyroscopic stabilization, they were anchored into the ocean floor as well. Many are still there to this day. If you squint, you can just barely see the shadow on the water, far in the northeast. Cannon still ready to placate Revachol.
Take in the ocean.
The waves of the Martinez Inlet rolled over the fallen remains of the building. The dark waters obscured the better part of the remains. What didn't fall into the ocean was used as scrap. What wasn't used as scrap was thrown into the ocean.
Time to go.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Is that bed in the coal room yours?
Ooh. Not only have you found my address, you've discovered my biggest secret. I'm a coal miner.
She does have eyes that seem to be smeared with coal.
It's not the nicest place, but I guess it'll have to do.
It doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now, I'm doing nothing at all.
Don't you have a real home?
Does anyone in a city like this?
If there's pain about any particular home she's lost, she's buried it deep, fortified herself against it.
Really? You're a miner?
Yes. I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me, but somehow it never happens.
Cool. I have other questions.
Shoot, Piggy.
Which is
it's
to
what
say...
you do, isn't it?
Oh, jeez. Catch you later, Cindy. Bitch. Oh, is this something that I could also open up with the cutters? Yeah, $5. Haha. Not only did I insult your home, but I stole from it. Waiting. Alright. Well, that was the apartments. That's cool though, we found some new shoes. We got a nice shirt. We'll maybe go see if that one door opens, but I doubt it. It seemed pretty thoroughly locked up. Seems like they're gonna hide it away for something else. But it's just right there, so there's no checking. Nope. Can't even attempt to open the door. Checking here. I don't know what the game considers dark, because I do know that as a little thing you can do, you have your flashlight, you can shine it around to find hidden objects in dark spaces. So I assume it has to be like pretty fairly dark. Oh shit. One sec. Alright, that checked. The tools in my hand. Cutters. No. Crowbar. No. Oh, dual wielding, huh? Versatile.
Trying to sneak up on me again? Trying to snuff me out? Get away, pig!
Speed train? Inside the frame of a motorcycle in repair and the tools used to disassemble it. Hey, Joyce.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? More
Just more
lessons in
questions about
basic
reality.
reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything. These
times
are
these?
unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late. For the big time. The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
True. Someone needs that cobalt. Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights,
Libs.
I mean everything.
Okay, and by liberals you mean...
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
How did the liberals win it all?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
We. She's one of them. Of course.
If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to?
To foreign intervention. The Coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Wait, you just said the Liberals took everything.
The Liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The Coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people. The Coalition of Nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-le-Clay, the armed centre of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
Moralists?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government. This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
I'm just technically, practically as well. I like what I've heard about these people.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
And then my voice, I think. Oh, that doesn't carry at all. Hold up. The better. Echo. Oh well, good enough. If
Why, of course. We're talking Duke Out Central. Full swing intra-species warfare. No, I would say the apes were neutral. On the other hand...
No. The tiny apes are doing all they can to be better. It's not their fault.
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists... they all got shot in the head.
She's not gloating. It's a relieved celebration.
Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed. Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people. Yes, the Red Deluge. The Insulindian Deluge, they call it. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. I prefer the term risk-averse. King Guillaume was nobody's fool. He could smell a PR disaster brewing, so he got out alive, and his nephew Fricelle got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time. The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end nearly the whole world had gotten involved. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Marzolf came along and overthrew the government. From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Marzolf's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end. Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think. A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune. Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-islary communication, telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Time flies. The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to '19 was simply hell. The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere. No, it was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
From the looks of it, the 50s haven't been much better for the zone of control. You can see it in her eyes. Days slipping away.
I've no right to be dissatisfied. This shirt is Barbara Muscova, this raincoat is impervious to rain and is guaranteed for 100 years. My daughters will wear it. No, it's just... We could have had so much more. Every one of us. If only we played it right. Good question. What would you have done differently?
No, her first.
And I asked you, past-less detective of the Citizens' Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you? Then you would have died, most likely. Not far from here. Maybe even right here, during the beachhead, defending the coast the day the Coalition took the city. Then you would have died fighting against them. Long before the beachhead, our time is a shadow cast by that day. They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there...
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer. She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor, a devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. Perhaps you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra anymore. Not in broad daylight. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, are you repulsed?
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her. But only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light green eyes.
I do hope so. I hope we are able to remain collegial despite my monstrousness. The Ultras didn't have anything against the king, or the commune, you see. It was just business. When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed. With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinaise a monument to the efficacy of its artillery, I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinaise, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched. She loosens them.
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isola down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here. Perhaps my intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
You're no dummy yourself.
A smart boy getting smarter. One basic term of reality at a time. Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? Glad to have been of assistance. The little...
The luxury of fine things. Just look at those black monk straps. After spending an entire day hustling, who's to say that you didn't deserve a pair of ridiculously expensive shoes on your tired feet? Beautiful things give you a rush. It's power. Crafting your style, draping your flesh in silk and leather, deciding how to present yourself to the world. Remember, when they come to take it away from you, you worked for those shoes. Whether you like it or not, wearing these shoes has made you more liberal. Ultra-liberal. Wow, you work hard. Oh, yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but oh yeah, like a horse. Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way. That's just what it's like. Life and death. But you got gills on your side, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco Negros and the Solas. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer. Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, ride or die. Now, ask yourself, are you rich? That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave, and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? Boo-hoo. The system is broken. The establishment is keeping me down. That's not the fuck yeah attitude you're used to. What is this? Why are you so poor? That's right. 100%. Fucking G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze. Every time you wipe your ass, they got their direct and their indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax, alimony, one tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus there's the stuff people in other countries pay for that makes them ask for more money from you. Here, total tax duties add up to 98% of all your money. What are you not sure about? They're milking your nipples till they bleed. Can't you see? Aren't you sick and tired of having bloody nipples? It's all about the tax issue, hustler. No other problem in the world is as pressing as top marginal tax rates. And don't you fucking forget it. Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained with yellow. It seems like she has spent a lot of time at work, smoking. An array of neurons fire up with joy. Bum her a cigarette, lest it turn to pain.
No, I don't. Why do you think that I smoke? It's not like yours look much better.
She is right. Your hands look even worse than hers, with tiny cuts and gushes covering your skin like a spider web. Your fingertips have become an ugly shade of brown. These are the hands of someone who's smoked for at least 20 years. as evidenced by the discoloration of fingers. Marks on your skin may point to past quarrels.
I already told you I don't have any. Go bother someone else. From the kiosk? There's one near the harbor. It's Frita. You can look it up.
She sighs.
My husband? No, he's not. I don't know. At home now? Out drinking with his friends? Yes, but I don't really need to know where my husband is. Not all the time. No. Why are we still talking about...
She has, though. The husband is totally lost. You should tell her that it's okay.
What? Who said anything about shame? Stop talking down to me.
But he is. You can feel it. Or maybe it's something else then.
No, absolutely not. Are you a policeman or a nanny? They are not
You know where they are. They're at home, smoking, giving the ladder of vices a chance.
What? That's just... My daughters are perfectly fine. They're with their friends down in Jam...
She's getting upset. Her voice has risen as she tries to convince herself that her daughters are safe.
They're almost grown up now anyway. They're past the age they need me protecting them from everything now. I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you are being a bit of a cockatoo here. Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or your herald?
Please, let's do.
The woman... A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous... The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring...
You've hurt yourself now. I told you not to mess around back there. What are you even trying to accomplish, you fool? You're only making things worse. Stop it. Be cursed? Who said that? Annette? I will have a word with her. This place is not cursed. It has a robustly...
Doesn't feel like it's thriving. Feels ghostly. A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of little oddly shaped trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. You feel something in your chest, an unnatural pressure. It's spreading to your left arm, your jaw. Very, very bad. All you feel is pain and weakness. You have to surrender now. We all do. It gets so dark. You don't even see her face, like you always thought you would. cop suffers a final heart attack. A detective lieutenant of the RCM passed away yesterday. His death...
Hello again, sir.
An array of neurons.
No. Why do you think that I smoke? It's not...
She is...
I already told you, I don't have any. Go bother...
She sighs.
My excuse... Dude...
She doesn't mean to be antagonistic, but she can't help coming off defensive.
Is she now? Annette's a sweet sprout, but she doesn't know anything about marriage. No, I don't. I have a good husband.
He's totally missing.
I don't know. At home now? Yes, but no. Why are we still talking?
She has the husband is...
What? Who said...
But he is.
No, are you a policeman? Or they are not...
You know where they are. They're at...
What?
She's getting up.
They're almost grown up now. My youngest girl, Jolie, is just shy of 16. Jenny, she is turning 18 next month. But we shouldn't even be talking. Why do you need to know this? Haven't I repeatedly told you that they're not missing?
Did someone say party? You could use a party. Hunt it down.
There is no investigation here. I can tell you that. I don't even have a cockatoo. And guess what? Great. Nothing. Go read up on them if you...
Maybe you should.
Please, let's do.
The woman before... The dented yellow mailbox greets... There. Working class drunk. You know what this means, right? Cracked it. All in a good day's work. What do you mean, what did I crack? Look at how working class that drunk is. Yes, and you found him. Now go and tell... Didn't she repeatedly tell you? But he is missing. You heard her. The worry in her voice. Do marriages make any sense? Does honor? You're not a filthy philosopher. You're an officer of law. It's time to ace this case and not brood over your reputation. We can deal with the perception management later. There's no need for champagne when there's honor, recruit. Go.
God damn it, I already told you. My husband isn't missing. And I specifically added that I didn't need to know. Very well then. Where is he? Excuse me?
There's something else hiding in her voice, though. A trace.
Right, 'cause working class women come with alcoholic husbands. You know what? You were right. I do have enough.
Ha! Blam! Knew it.
No, he's not. Or maybe he is. I don't know. I haven't seen him for... Well, to hell with him.
There. She's worried now. She sighs, but you can detect a slight hint of gratitude and relief from her face.
All right, go ahead. Do you have any questions? Yesterday morning, he went to the library. He went to retrieve my book, and he promised he'd walk straight back home. Because we talked about this. We talked about not wandering off again. I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know what to do with his addiction.
Gone for around 36 hours then. Damn, this is a missing persons case. She turns away from you in an attempt to...
Honestly, not that different from you. Well, he's... What else? He was wearing a dark brown leather jacket with a bright blue inner lining. The lining is hand-sewn. It's his cool jacket. God knows it's too cold to run around in this, but he...
Who cares about the cold when you have your cool jacket to wear?
I even tried throwing it away once, but he just dug it out of the bin. Can you believe it? Well, what can you do? I hope that at least that extra...
She's thinking about him out in the cold, in some park, or on the coast. And it's making her...
So you are...
She genuinely wants you to know. Don't make her ask.
Thank you. Please do. Even though I'm sure he will return home by himself. I'm still sure of that.
She tries to maintain a brave front, even though her eyes reveal the opposite.
Right. What about him?
She gives you a short nod.
Hello again, sir.
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. You should go over and ask him about paying for those sneakers with your net worth. The speakers below. You should go over and ask him about paying for those sneakers.
Everything's still cool here, officer. Me? It's a boring story, officer. Sea guy, apricot suzerainty, it's all the same to me. It's all cool. I'm interested in sales. Go ahead, let's make one.
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything. Sure thing. My apologies, officer.
A needle in a haystack. There is...
Sure, man.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horse. Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped, and sad. The boomboxes wait on the shelves, and your boombox
is the Harman Welshie W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul, plays all reel-to-reel formats, 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
700 real. A bargain, I dare say. There's also the matter of rewiring, but the most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light became suitable for use inside the home just a few days ago.
What a shirt. All other shirts pale in comparison to the muscular man with antlers and immense Zweihanders.
Oh, look. It's the cop who turned me into a bad person.
Looking for something?
No. He's got a smoke right there, in his fucking hand.
Can't have it. Evidence of what? I haven't done anything. I bet. Sorry I couldn't be of any help.
Right to work! Right to work! Sure.
Don't think so.
Suddenly, this feels like a really, really bad idea. Silence. He takes the photo. Grey, hard as a stone. You see dead flesh in colorful rivers of polychrome, melting skin and hair.
Fucking loincloths. Really did him in. Yeah. What it means. I can tell you what this one means. Only one. You want to hear what happened here? Our colonel is deep in the bush here. Deep in the fucking bush. In Benital, 41. Monsoon season. He's on a reconnaissance mission. He spent a month behind enemy lines, scouting kipped villages. Nothing but fucking bugs and snakes for fun. Men are getting restless. There's talk.
With some strange emotion. This is about to get really graphic. Last moment to back off.
Our boy, he's only a captain then, but he knows how these men think. If they don't see at dawn, he comes upon 2 kids, breeding in the bushes by the river. Or maybe they weren't breeding. We shot the boy. He was useless, but the girl, she was nice. A little fat, you know. She was quite the entertainment for the week she lasted. Expired in the hands of Sarge Mason. The kind of guy who'd make Chief there shit his pants and cry like a bitch. God. Mason couldn't let go. Cut the tits off her cold body and fucking ate them. Drowned in a creek a week later. Spirits, Maya.
Something stirs in your stomach. There's a word on the tip of your tongue. Colorless. Odorless. It's...
No, I was somewhere else. That's just a guess as to what this one little star on his belly might mean. Fucking mask is getting sweaty. I want to take my mask off.
He's under orders, and orders are orders.
Go ahead.
All right, now. Free commerce! Keep the goods flowing!
On the photo in your hands, the dead man's skin is studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them, littering his dead skin.
No, I'm not a fighter. I'm a worker.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go. I am not the first line of defense. I am the last. In addition, these so-called Hardy Boys are an effeminate clique of bodybuilders. Their company is spiritually degrading. The Hardy manlets are on the pay of the company. I answer to the Union alone. And I do this out of race heroism. Finance is an alien concept to the Simonians. Now leave me be. I must luxuriate in the company of my woman. race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go. Race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
It has happened again.
Another fit of criminal.
You feel something in your chest, an unnatural pressure. Very. There's no shame in surrendering now. We all do. It gets so dark, you don't even see her. Cop suffered.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last.
Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. And the vile CF race cauldron of pederasty. Which one do you need education on? I knew you would go straight for the vile cauldron. Everyone does. You need to first learn about Type A and B to appreciate the depravity of the...
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, it just won't make any sense.
Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Maun, of course. The Maun are riddled with eczema to the point where they find it impossible to smile. They are all lactose intolerant, a common result of inbreeding. A receding genetic pool has led the Maun on reprehensible street parades. In Maun cities like Stadskanal and Vredefort, wearing wooden clogs on their feet and little green tassels on their hats. You know them by the names of their nation-states. The Oranese, the Gotwaldians, and the Königsteiners. My people simply call them Maun. The Maun are proof that you can have too much Occidental racial purity and tassel-centric culture. Inbreeding has led to a lactose-intolerant subrace whom no one can take seriously.
Colorful tassels are, let's be honest, not a good sartorial choice for this century. You might want to avoid wooden clogs too.
The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans of Meteo by the golden Pisantic Sea, the Suren of Sur-la-Clé, and even the North Königsteiners, all have Type A race propensity The other large mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and oleaginous to count as a heroic race. True, they are violent and expansionist, but they have a glandular problem. Overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to El Mariachi music and eat toxic minced meat-based food, which in turn only produces more sebum. As proven by the Maun and the Mesk, Occidental Type A is in retrograde. The Seminese and the Areopagites are on the ascent. The Areopagites are the master race of the Ilmaran deserts. The Simonese are descendants of the Areopagites. We came here during a heroic migration from Ilmaran to Ansuland, thousands of years before the lactose-intolerant Maun-ridden Occidentals discovered this place. The indigenous people of this, the Insulindian archipelago. The Simonese inhabit the southern islands. I am Simonese, from the stock of Ulebri on Ile de Fantôme. The Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Simonese are powerful, mesomorphic. The former is an immutable progenitor, unchanged since the Super Isola of Pericanasis. Ancient brains rest in their slender skulls. The latter is perfected and adapting. Together they form the Simeno-Areopagite or Simeopagite super race. That is all. There are no more Type A races in the world.
Nature was not capable of more.
Type B are the unheroic races, amorphous non-competitors of the great race. The Khoikos and the Vacholier, they are mud-colored people.
The Khoikos of Grad, Yugo, Zhimsk, Chest et al. Are what you would call white, officer, in a suspect description.
To an untrained eye, the Khoiko appear white and pinkish, like a ham sandwich. But look into their eyes and you will see. They are of an indistinct muddy color, and so is their skin. Unhealthy, sweaty, and ashen. Pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and cultural domination that the Grad people have undergone for drinking alcohol and smoking the degenerate tobacco and for eating potato. The Khoiko, the countless micronationalities of Grad, are all inexplicably obsessed with potat. The only thing they like more is dividing into microscopic ethno-states, like political amoeba. The Vacholians, halfway between Type A and the racial Cauldron, too mixed to know right from wrong. You tried your degenerate little revolution, which was the single greatest failure committed by humans in our 82,000-year history on this planet.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad, in Zaraz-ridden potato carts. It is literally an illness. A prion disease that leaves the parietal and frontal lobe ridden with holes. A soft, sponge-like mass of dementia, hallucination, and paranoia. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia. A hereditary prion condition passed from the Koiko to the Occidentals. But not sexually. Probably through trade roots and potate acid, the prime component of the potato plant. Enough of type mediocrity. Chips CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic maladaptations. They are tortured creatures waiting to be put to sleep. Your morbid interest in them worries me. Lesser races like the mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a masked woman and a Seminese man. Only possible if the mother is masked and the father Seminese. The other way around, they fail to produce offspring. The mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey. All they have left is to ride customized motor carriages with hydraulic suspension, listening to aggressive El Mariachi music to vent their impotent despair.
It seems unlikely that two human beings produce genetically sterile offspring.
You are right. You have misunderstood. You lack basic phylogenetic education.
The sage will not budge on this.
Then there is the Simino Koiki Chimera. Are you sure you wish to know of the Simino Koiki Chimera? The Koiko, as you know, are very servile, especially when they meet the rich man. Racial scientists have toyed with the idea of crossing the Seminese with the Koiko to produce a super worker of Seminese strength and Grad servility. This will never happen. The Seminese and the Koiko may have similar interbreeding problems as the mosquito. We will never know precisely. No Seminese man could maintain an erection in the suffocating potato stench of a Koiko woman, or Koika.
There is a strange sadness in his tone, a less than heroic melancholy this time.
The heart that pumps the hemoglobin is mysterious, and so is its dark will. Enough of these personal matters.
He does not seem angry, nor does the woman look affected. She just twirls her hair. Perhaps they've been through this and established an accord.
You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? You have not even worded the mystery, let alone solved it. You need to internalize what you have heard here today. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Tibere Vacholian. Your love for disco music and venereal disease?
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune moment.
What do you mean?
Because I'm one of the best caminers around. Lomonosov's Land, Udajnaya Zemlya, the Western Plain, the Transcatolia Magistral. You for 1A. Adestradas du Mirador, all the good ones. The Irmao. I already am dust.
A lorry stuck in the traffic.
Is this about the questions again? 'Cause
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle equals 10 cents. You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. The
I've got nothing to say.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again. Of course, dear. Is there a particular cryptid that I thought we'd agreed on just one cryptid, sweetie? Can't say no to that. Well, the biggest cryptid is the Giant of Kokonur. The Giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur Desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren wastes. No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon and expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision. The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's a fata morgana, others, fate unimaginable. That's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. The giant of Kokonur must be the largest animal the planet can support. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Kokonur desert might allow the creature to grow to these gargantuan sizes.
Great. This is great shit. You need more. Gravity anomaly? Dig in it. Dig in this parascientific stuff right here.
Cryobacter catlensis. Yes, a unicellular bacterium that was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Kotla on the Boreal Plateau by renowned geologist Caitlin Mijanou some 70 years ago. The bacterial colony Mijanou found had remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate. Certainly from before recorded history. Mijanou disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life. Yes, the bacteria had survived in the ice since times immemorial. It is not hard to see where she could have gotten the idea. Mijanou did talk about the end of the world a great deal before her abrupt departure. Everyone thought the bacteria had driven her mad, but she really was a brilliant woman. Maybe the Cryobacter catlensis allowed her to see something no one else could. What an interesting question. The Col de Mama d'Aqua, or thin whisper of sound. And that's precisely what it seems to be. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible. It's very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track. Like nothing, it's such a high-pitched sound that us humans can't hear it, nor can other animals. It could be ringing right outside your window and you wouldn't even know it. Could be anywhere. Everywhere, even. Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves. But there's no evidence to support this theory. It could be. As I said, it could be everywhere. And we wouldn't know any better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives and nights. Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 1920s, a group of Areopagite ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds. The scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest-pitched bat calls.
She transforms, when speaking about these strange animals, into a confident woman.
They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Coldamamadaqua, after the Paracanassian name for the voice of God, which is said to be very silent. They grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among individual birds and even began to name some of them. Sequester, Time, Joscan, those are but some of the Mamadaqua they followed individually. That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction. They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mamadaqua.
This lady really should be a teacher. She's really good at the explaining things thing.
Exactly. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, they wiped out most of the population. After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but they've been few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Coldamamadaqua population anywhere. What about what? Of course, dear.
Can I help you? You're already set for the night. Your door is unlocked.
The man ponders his cooking utensil. He looks up at you, then looks away quickly, shrugging and muttering something to himself. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
Was that? Could it be the Coldamamadaqua? No.
hurt yourself now. I told you not to mess around back there. What are you even trying to accomplish, you fool? You're only making things worse. Stop it. Be compelled to look at the books. Go to them. Goodness, you were already doing good.
She smiles and nods, seemingly relieved. Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels. Shelves full of biographies of famous people, whoever they are. Several maps have been attached to it. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map. The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the River Esperance. Countless bridges put the shards back together, connecting city blocks to river islands. La Delta says a great artificial heart in the center, teeming with life forms and construction. To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie, the suburbs of Saint-Baptiste, swallowed up into the megacity. They sound rich to you. This is Rivershell East. Hudon, it's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Forberg. It's almost as bad, and much larger. Then Coal City. It's the worst. You feel you're just west of Coal City, somewhere above Jamrock and close to Coal City. This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is La Caillou. You are here. Another, far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ile de Fantôme. Ozon, Laurentide, Fas à la Mer, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white, disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. It's you. The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Windy is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seol is the west azimuth. Isolas, they're called. Connections to other worlds, words past the Insulindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large compared to you, and very, very far away. Perhaps they are gods, gods of distance and outer dust.
I'm sorry, officer, but they're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. That old thing, it's an out-of-date map of from when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and they didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up.
This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is Ozon. Disintegrate. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of the ocean. Connections to other. You have little idea. Perhaps they are gods. This bookstore is not strictly about. The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular...
Oh, Man from Hjelmdal. A very popular series of adventure novels. They're awfully immoral and violent books. Blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encounters. They're bound to grab those with little imagination and nothing to do. What does it matter? They're all the same. However, if you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Hjelmdalaman, The Man from Hjelmdal. It's supposed to be a good introduction to the series.
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabinier do for you?
Officer, I'm sorry, officer, but I really don't share food. Nothing personal, it's just...
The only one you...
The sandwich looks like a culinary wonder. In addition to the obvious slice of ham, a fat one, you note...
Oh, that's good. That's very good. You must have other business then?
You sit on the wind-worn wooden planks of the bench. Your feet ache. You finally stop picking your nose. Time passes. What events led you to sitting on a bench, completely drenched? The Aces high. For the rest of the world, the Aces high is just a cool Revachol thing, politically neutral. In Revachol, it still holds revolutionary connotations. Also, have you looked at Lieutenant Kitsuragi's clothes? He wears a bomber jacket. just like the ones worn by aerostatic brigades, and those cargo pants could store tools for hotfixing your aerostatic. Maybe you should ask him about this.
Oh, look. It's the cop who turned me into a bad person. Huh? Oh. No, I ain't got any money. They don't want to pay for unfinished work. The bosses, man. Yeah, it sure ain't good for me. Or you. I'd spare a coin or two for a city cop down in his luck. If I had saved 4 myself.
Ease into it. Don't go too far.
Cool, cool. We all want to know each other's woes and all. But people, man, they have slippery souls.
Just like that, he slips out of your reach. It is possible the yelling. An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. There are 8 pairs of tracks in the mud. You won't get far without a lieutenant here to bounce thoughts off of. Where could he be right now? The asphalt passing underneath the front wheels of his motor carriage at a high speed.
Fuck does Kuno care? Yeah? The kingdom of Kuno? The fuck do you want with it? Yeah, whatever. Kuno... Yeah? The kingdom of... Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno's Kuno?
It's always Kuno, never I. Clearly the kid's using the third-person perspective as a shield.
The fuck are you calling a third person? Kuno...
He looks slightly confused, but proud he came up with that retort. But right as he's getting distracted, you hear a malevolent hiss from behind the fence.
Watch out, Kuno! He's trying to fiddle you! He's gonna put his hands on you! Help! Pig's got Kuno! Help! Rape!
Help! He's got the Kuno! Help! Help! He's digging his dick out!
Escalate, Kuno! His dick is out! You're afraid!
Pigs in here, Kuno! Somebody, please!
How did we get here? How did this happen? This makes no sense. There may still be a way out. Just appeal to his reason.
Look, I know you wanted to hit me. You got that, I'm gonna fuck that Kuno up look. The Kuno's dad gets. The murder look. The rage look.
Relax. He can't read your mind. There's a dead body, remember. That's what you were doing here. You're a cop on a case.
I know what you thought. I'm gonna fuck that Kuno up. I'm gonna shut that shit down. You know what? You should've, because now You're nothing. You're a joke to Kuno. Kuno laughs at you. King Kuno!
The whole charade was about establishing dominance over you.
Kuno turned you into his prison, bitch! You bitch, you're gonna be in this shit with Kuno forever!
Okay, Kuno is kind to his bitch. Ask your questions, but remember, this changes shit.
Click, 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 click!
It's not Kuno. It's Kuno S.
Fuck you whispering about?
He's whispering too. He's going with it. But watch what happens.
Fuck you whispering about!
If Kuno wants to whisper, he's gonna fucking whisper, okay? Let's whisper, pig.
This is it. You've got him. But be careful. You can still fuck this up. Don't make Kuno look bad in this.
She's not fucked up.
Wrong move. But he's whispering still. You haven't lost him. Just don't mess up again. Or you will.
It's okay. The pig's trying to pit us again.
That's it. You let him off the line. That was a bad, manipulative thing.
Try to fuck my Kuno! Try to fuck my Kuno away! Me and Kuno are tight. We ride for life.
He's on your...
Trying to fuck at the Kuno. Trying to fuck at me. Trying to fuck. Kuno only gets higher. It's faster, faster, faster. Can't take the Kuno. Stay out of the reactor.
Kuno gonna fuck you up.
Normal is not what we got here. You've got to work with what you have for now.
Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape. What is this shit? Fucking on yourself. This is weird level shit. Kuno doesn't go there.
Fuck your shit back to normal. What?
Well played. No one saw that coming.
It's a vitamin.
You could use some.
Yeah, it's the mag.
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno.
You're not getting...
Fuck you, pig. Don't do mag.
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't... The fuck do you want with it? Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and... Kuno...
appalling cloak with possible RCM marking. The door is closed. Still nothing. Still nothing. This door can... The bed is still cold from the broken window. The fan, the switch must be broken, because nothing happens. The lights are on. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face.
Can I help you?
I've got nothing to say to you. Why I am being aggressive? Listen, you moral and unlucky. You are part of a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol. 20 fat men in the Occident are stealing it all, and you are their bodyguard.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. No one is emotional here. Do your job. Ask your questions, then leave.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate political opinions somewhere in Martinez. The air suddenly feels calmer, more transparent in a strangely tender way. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin. But something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times. Incrementally. Yawn. You'd get there faster with a little speed. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. Too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment. Tisk tisk, just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future. You may never live to see the kingdom of conscience. Your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What rationality? What sang-froid? What benevolence? What a fucking joke. Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed? There you have it. Sometimes holding the line is progress. The kingdom is difficult to comprehend and even more difficult to describe, partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The kingdom of conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual. Slow down, Mr. Reasonable. Did you miss the part about compromising and take? That's right. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that real democracy kicks in, a long time from now, we are all going to be so much happier.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here. Incriminating. Now that's a big boy word. Container belt, like we use in the harbor? Because we took it from the harbor where we work. Then we went out back and used it to hang him. We did this together. All of us. Until he was dead. Goddamn right.
No. These 7 honest men have equally come forth. They told you what happened, so that you don't waste any more of your time.
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out alive in my town. And he stepped out alive. The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Kohoy and Semenine written all over him. Ex-Oranese Special Forces.
A live grenade, right here in our bar.
This one has a special gripe with him coming here.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They hire merc shit like that. Story of every strike from here to Samara. Wrong. He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers, threatened to kill some as a warning.
There's slight unease in him, suddenly. He regrets mentioning the rape.
To kill us all, if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over. That was before he started coming here.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started to come in here every night. Drinking, grabbing girls. Grab one of ours mid-karaoke, right there on the stage. Yeah, this girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. The fucker grabs her legs, starts screaming. Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt? Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you. He took care of it. They got the girl.
Yeah, me and Eugene got around. Aren't you fucking listening?
No. You're not getting the name. That's a Martinez matter. And I'm not discussing it with you clowns.
Despite the stonewalling, you can slip one more question in.
Titus, do not answer.
Fuck off, Carl. She's gone through enough without you harassing her too. She doesn't need more embarrassment. What you need is to get the fuck out of my face. I've had enough of explaining myself to you fucks. He's dead. It's done.
As you can see, these men can only take so much baseless scrutiny. I'm doing my best to keep the situation civil, but...
It's true. She was the only thing holding him back.
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest a Hardy Boy without arresting all Hardy Boys. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
Who do you fucking think does?
That's right, asshole. Titus Hardy runs the Hardy Boys.
I think you got your answer.
No, you did not get an answer. Titus does administrative work. He pushes paper, fills out forms. The others can't read. But on that night, they all acted as one man.
We hanged him up by his neck until he got real still.
Didn't they teach you?
You're pretty sure you've had at least 2 years of cop school and many more of active service.
Look, I'm not gonna play 20 questions with you, capo. I'll say it again. We killed him.
Yeah, I knocked him out. Came up behind him and clubbed him in the back of the head. He went down like a sack of sand.
That's right, lawman. And then we hanged the fuck.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first, then see if it all adds up.
Right fucking here. Eugene already told you that the fuck had started coming to our bar.
Yeah, man, weren't you listening?
My fucking elbow, Copper. Samaran boxing style.
Titus is solid as a rock, and so are a few others. But
No. Of course he's having trouble breathing. Just look at how fucking fat he is.
Fuck off, Shanky. Angus is a powerful guy. All muscle.
keep your eye on this powerful guy. Sooner or later, he's going to break like a piece of...
And fuck you, too, copper. Picking on Angus like this.
His all-muscle comment wasn't sarcastic. This one is a stone wall. You won't get more out of them about the night of the murder. Not yet.
Like what, copper?
You don't have to keep answering his questions.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the...
Known him? We don't associate with scum like that, asshole.
Yeah! Who do you think we are?
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town. Happy? No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to fuck us over. But
this is where he tries to sow discord between you two, because he knows the company is responsible for bringing the mercenaries.
why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard enough.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end. Don't waste your last questions.
How many people have you sent to the Shays? Ever felt remorse for them?
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
But you see, a lawman, is something people agree upon. And here in Martinez, we agreed that this man had to die.
Nothing. Your investigation here is done. You should go back to Jamrock, to your station.
Yes. Run home, lonely rent-a-cop. Real law officials are done with you.
Rent-a-cop. So that's what this is about. He doesn't see you as his equal.
What are you talking about, madman? There's no 8th Hardy Boy. Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardy Boy?
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
This person Glenn wants to hire. She? So there's an 8th Hardy, and it's a Hardy girl.
Shut the fuck up, Glenn!
I do the talking here.
It has to be good.
Sorry, boss.
Like hell you have. There is no local drug trade. This place is as clean as a rifle. Go back to Jamrock and ask the local junkies how clean your streets are in Precinct 41 Kilos. That's a mighty interesting theory. I guess that's what you would need to do, theoretically. A big, strong, state-run monopoly would outcompete the runts on the street.
Yeah, man. Theoretically, that's what you would do. To get rid of the gangs.
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place, of course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community, of course. Thank you. Theoretically.
He seems genuinely surprised at you.
Titus, I'm amazed. Where is the same professionalism when it comes to other topics?
I don't know, Lizzie. I guess theoretical things don't make me emotional. Now, was there anything else? My answer is... fuck off.
Finally, you got something out of him.
And here we go.
I know! Fatty walked on all fours. He's so fucking fat he left 2 sets of footprints.
Go fuck your mom, Dennis.
That's more like it, boys. You heard him. It was Angus on all fours. Anything else you need to know?
Again, just get the dead guy's autograph.
Good one, Titus.
About fucking time.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time? I am not.
You could be, Liz. You could be anything. You could even be a model.
Even a mod? Glenn, I went to law school. I am an attorney.
He's right. With a face like that, she could be on the cover of Le Debutante International. The cold look in her eyes speaks. It's not her. She's not a hardy girl. Definitely. tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings. Tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. You feel something in your chest, an unnatural pressure. Tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings. Tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. As you leap in the air, a chilly breeze engulfs you, sharpening your senses. Ankles tingling from the tension, blood roaring in your ears. You are ready for your rendezvous with the concrete pavement below. As the concrete floor welcomes you, you realize it's been a while since you felt so alive. No one is listening to your words, but it doesn't matter. You feel pride. Now, with your feet firmly planted on the imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change." On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawer opens smoothly. Inside, hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, it appears to be a to-do list written, "Remember, Leo, Everart's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everart's plants, sweep office floor." All items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself doesn't look too incriminating, but still feels like a find. Remember, Leo, all items on the list have been the drawer slides. The already familiar, the machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move. The already familiar cold touch of plastic welcomes you as you pick up the handset. It's unclear whether you actually have muscle memory. Right now, you're sure, why not? All those empty wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really, really hard here. Look at it. Of course it was you. You partied here. Yeah. It doesn't exactly look like someone really enjoyed themselves here. No point in dwelling on it now. This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door. You need to rest. Your body is aching. Getting in here has taken something out of you. Have a seat. Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. Looks like the inhabitant is rather pedantic when it comes to order. The photo remains neatly placed on the edge of the table. The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons. The drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. One small box, however, does hold some cheap painkillers. They are slightly out of date. Oh boy, where to start? Elevated risk of dementia, mini strokes, prophet's disease, sudden death, hair death, erectile malfunction, critical flatulence, watery blood, black mucus, uncontrollable weeping, increased sensitivity to la opera, inoperable joint disorder, total spinal collapse. Maybe this was a bad idea. You stand and exit the booth. Nothing looks like it's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man, Rene, is dressed in a Royal Carabinieri uniform. The girl is young and very pretty. She is smiling playfully at the camera. Rene looks like he's about to smile. This photo must be tied to some good memories. The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. Stale air floods through your nostrils, not a single mote of dust. You stand and exit the... front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. No advertisements, you notice. So who's funding this radical commentary? After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, the magazine is divided into several sections. International developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note. It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture. Obviously, because it's cool to drop random phrases in foreign languages. It evokes a sense of recognition and fellowship among those privileged enough to understand. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing. If you don't follow it, you only ever hear about the ludicrous sponsorships and obscene death toll. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject. You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season. Maybe sprinkle. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tourney. Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. Oddly enough, this article has two bylines: Nasteb and Kalada Bernal and Exilus Buka. Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tourney becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers, your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a fritter. And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for. You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tourney is simply the upper. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. Unsurprisingly, much of this section, you skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Cape Side apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent. According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation with the forces of international capital or their mucilaginous allies in the... Why do communists love puerile insults? And they wonder why they're always being left out in the cold. Judging from the context, it's something very large and fundamental. You should probably know about it already, honestly. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. An intricate web of blue, the pattern still. A rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marche and Arrête are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block. Allumer on, éteindre off. The crane stands tall, proud, erect, and still.